Hello and welcome to another Valley Forge devlog. This time I've got some AI stuff to show off, a new landship blockout, and going to talk about a bit about the ID system that I've been developing. Here we can see the AI drone as it stands, which has had a bunch of improvements. It's now got a visual cone where it will detect things inside the cone and attempt to line of sight them and assign them to be engaged. So it will point at you and flash a brighter color and yeah, actively try to shoot you. Something that's in at the moment is now it's receiving radar pings. The pings is being blocked by not having the ID system, which I'm going to be talking about in just a minute. Each time it's pinged, it will build up a signal database, and when one of those signals, whichever of those signals is the strongest and is over a certain threshold, it will change from just wandering at random to wandering generally in the direction of the source of the signal. And once it's passed over a second much higher threshold, it'll go into a hunt mode. And that's the version that we're seeing right here. It keeps crossing over the landship. The fire is still set to automatic, so occasionally it will just hit. But yeah, that's come along quite nicely. As part of the ID work, I also implemented spawners. So there's now a player spawner where I started this video at. I can put down multiple of those in the world, and I can choose to spawn at a specific ID of a spawner, or I can just pick from a random one of player only or other spawn types. So we'll just have a quick look around the landship of the old version. All of these walls are procedurally generated. I just specify the height and width and length, and then the engine builds it on the fly. I built that system because I thought that would make blocking things out and testing things a lot easier. But over time of using that system, it became obvious that it was taking a lot more time to do that than it would be to just model out the whole thing. Using the modified copy of the blockout that I was using already in the engine, so has a little more room than the original blockout. There's an option in Godot which lets me quickly create a collision shape out of a mesh. And because they're not so high poly, that means it'll be quite good on performance, while also getting me in for testing quite quickly. So yeah, all of the rooms are now blocked out. The gaps in the walls, some of them will be doors, but also other ones will be filled by destructive panels. So you'll have damage to the outside of the ship, which will allow gunfire to come in, explosions to come in, creatures to come in, um, and conversely players to shoot back out. You'll be able to repair those or completely replace and upgrade them with newer versions over the course of a campaign. Because of the new collision shapes, I could quickly block out some vents as well. And here we have a bug where I got stuck inside of a wall after standing up into a ceiling because there's no protection against standing up when there's no space at the moment. I'm not entirely sure how I'm getting stuck. We'll have to look into that. So I stopped working on the AI because the ID system was a blocker. I needed to get the IDs of the contact that was pinging the drone, but I haven't been assigning IDs to anything yet. So went back to this very base level system and started assigning IDs. So when something is spawned now, it gets an ID. But I've also built myself a tool where in the editor, I can click a button and generate all of the IDs for a landship. So when there is something that has a lot of static parts that you need to share to your multiplayer clients, you can make assumptions about them. Every landship is going to have a driving station. It's going to have a reactor. Those don't have to be transmitted on Connect anymore, or they won't in the future once multiplayer is back up to a working state. Moving the work back into Blender means that I can do blocking out a lot more quickly again. I was able to quickly put in shapes for things that I wanted to do, like expanding the hangar by using the extra space between the front and rear wheels. Each of the rooms now uses up a maximum amount of space. I've got a few rules that I decided on basically as I was working on it, that the external walls are half a meter thick, but internal walls are a quarter. Dividing all the sections of the ship also mean that I can work on different parts at the same time. So having the vents underneath the hallways or removing the hallways so I can see the crawlways, just in general it makes it quite a bit more usable than doing this editing inside Godot. I'll probably have to do some of this again when I go back to uh, when it's time to add in the proper textured floors. But while I'm here, um, this is working extremely well. Now the crow's nest is something that I really want, but I'm not sure I'll actually have in the final version. The landship's already 20 meters tall once you're on the roof. What's an extra 12 meters? I mean, it might make all the difference once terrain's in the game. But here we can see that the mast is on a collapsible piston. When it's in a collapsed mode, we'll go down into the third floor, which will kind of block the area and make it a little more claustrophobic, which I was initially opposed to, but after some consideration, I decided that would actually make people more likely to extend it, even if they didn't necessarily need it, just for the feng shui. And at the back of the ship, just behind the radar, is a little blister, which will allow the radar to fold down and get covered up for various environmental effects that will go in on the version after the first demo. And the last idea I had was having the driver's seat on like a little rail where it could be farther back for the player to get a seat, and then it'll extend out into the forward position where it's got quite a good view. All right, that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and catch you next time.